guys up to today? Look at me, huh? Look at me. I'll tell you, sometimes you find it hard to grumble. Sometimes. Today's one of those times, or right now is one of those times. As you can see behind me, I have a pretty good deal right now. But hello everybody, this is Green Bean. Welcome to Greenbeanjetsfan, episode 27. It's getting crazy out here, episode 27. I don't even know what's going on. I want to thank you all for hanging out with me. It is my true pleasure to be able to do this and talk with you guys. I sincerely love chatting with you guys. There's even a few guys who like to follow me around and tell me I'm ugly. And I love you guys too. I really do. I think you guys are important, man. It's important to keep things in perspective, is it not? Everybody can't like everybody. It's just not the way it goes. But I think it's a good thing to have our differing opinions. One of my favorite things to do in the whole world is to be able to have the opportunity to discuss different opinions when it comes to our New York Jets. It's sincerely one of the best things that I do, and I love it. It's like a lot of the time I'll think something, I'll hear some news, and I'll start drawing my own conclusions, and I'll make my own opinions, and then all of a sudden somebody else says, well, did you hear about this? Or did you think about it this way? And I'm like, huh, that's interesting, man. And it's good to be able to do that. Now, they don't always sway me. Let me not try to make it sound like I don't get rigid at times, because I do. But the thing is, man, is that it's good to have different opinions. Like before the draft this year, let me tell you how intense it got. You know, you were out there, but like there was the main one was the to keep Sam or not to keep Sam. Remember that? Remember that? It seems like ages ago, doesn't it? But Jets Twitter and Jetnation, all these places were split. And if you were talking to somebody who disagreed with your opinion, you were in danger of hearing some very choice words about you and your mother and all kinds of stuff. It gets crazy. So that's the side of it I don't so much love. But it's like, if we can keep that out, dude, what's better than having a discussion about NFL football, particularly our New York Jets? What's better? I love it. So before we get really cracking here, I want to tell you a couple things. One is, if you're wondering where I am, this is a place called Patton Pond. I am about 25 minutes south or maybe west of Bar Harbor, Maine. And guys, let me tell you, I haven't been up to Bar Harbor or Maine and you know, in general, in over 23, 24 years kind of a thing. And it's something else. It sucks that the football team up here is the one that I hate so much, because the people up here are super crazy nice when they're not talking about football. And the location, man, it's hard to beat. It really is. Maine is spectacular. Crystal clear water, just beautiful mountains and everything else. You know the deal. There's lobster crawling all over the place. This place right here, I'm very fortunate, and this is where I'm staying for the next 2 days or so. I'll be here, and we wake up and I come out here and I hang out on Patton Pond. They call this a pond. Maine does a weird thing where they call lakes ponds. Like where I come from, a pond is like a little swampy kind of thing. A pond is something that you might have some carp in or something. You know what I mean? It's small. They call this a pond, and there's numerous examples of that. These massive, massive lakes, and it's like Tom's Pond. So I don't know what that is, but that's what this is, and I couldn't be happier to be here. And I'm happy to be able to show you guys too. It's been tough on the road as of late to be able to find any real locations to shoot from. I hope to be able to do more of that as I move forward, because it's one of those cool things that I can bring to you, man, is I'm literally traveling around the country with my family, riding every roller coaster in the country, and that will be a nice segue into, I would really appreciate some love over on my YouTube page documenting that side of things, which is Full-Time Coaster Tour on YouTube, the only family to sell it all, to ride them all. That's us. So we're the only family on the internet that sold everything they own to ride every roller coaster in the country, and we're trying to do a good job letting you know what that looks like around each place, every coaster place, the campgrounds, all that sort of stuff. I'm trying to bring it to you, and you can find all that stuff over there, Full-Time Coaster Tour. If you're in the mood and you're over here watching me and you haven't subbed right here on GreenBeanjetsfan, I think it would really make you happy. And that's my whole gig, man. My gig is to try to make you happy. It's not so much about me, it's about you. And I think once you sub to something that you're digging, it feels good, man. I know it because I do it all the time. I watch channels and stuff, and then sometimes I'll watch 3-4 videos on, a new planet they found somewhere, and then I look down, I'm like, oh my God, I didn't even sub to these guys. And then I sub, and I feel like I at least did that little something to contribute to what they're putting out there because I appreciated the content. So if you appreciate the content in any way, shape, or form, hitting the thumbs up, that little like button, boop, right there, and the subscribe button are the two most beautiful things that you can do to express that beautiful love for, content that you're digging. So I would appreciate that too. I want to make a big announcement right now. I get a lot of emails and texts and Instagram messages and all that stuff. People asking me how they can contribute and kind of help out on, with my tour on the road. So what I did was I went and created a Patreon. I'm going to put the link to my Patreon right in the description of this video. So if you feel inspired to support, help contribute, give back, whatever it's called, if you want to do that, I would greatly appreciate it if you went to the Patreon. I have 3 tiers, and we're going to have a good time using that platform to create different specific content for each tier and all that stuff. It's going to be fun, man, and I'm really looking forward to it. Again, the link will be in the description of this video, and I do greatly appreciate it. And as always, if this isn't enough Jets talk for you, if you watched every YouTube video you could, and Jets Twitter is just dried out, Jetnation.com is where you want to go. I do my weekly series over there called On the Road with Green Bean on Jetnation's YouTube page. You can also find the podcast with Glenn, Dylan, and Alex at Jetnation's YouTube page, and you can go to Jetnation.com and get in the most robust Jets forum on the planet. All right, we're done. We're done. So now that that's behind us, let's cap something that just happened. And I got to talk to quite a few of you about it already, but I want to just add a couple tidbits that weren't out when we started the discussion on my other video and stuff. So as we know, the Jets did in fact come to an agreement with Morgan Moses, the right tackle from the Washington football team. A guy, for numerous reasons, is a very welcome addition to this particular football team at this particular moment in time. We like George Fant. We're very happy with the progression of our offensive line, but bringing on a guy who's been as consistent as Morgan Moses is a positive. But here's a few things. One, Joe Douglas did a fantastic job making his contract numbers so incredibly workable. Think about this. He just had Crowder take what's essentially a 50% pay cut from $10 million to about $5 million. He took that $5 million. Instead of just having Jamison Crowder, which a lot of us out here said, dude, just pay Jamison Crowder. We have all the money in the world. We have a nice buffer of cap space. It's not helping anything. We don't need the money. So just pay Jamison Crowder. The guy's put in. He's earned it. He's a good football player. He went and turned that extra $5 million that he agreed to cut from Crowder's contract and turned it into Morgan Moses. In fact, it's not even that much. He got Morgan Moses for a base contract of $3.6 million. There are incentives such as if he plays 80% of the offensive snaps this year, he will go up to $5.3 million, I think it is. It might be 5.6, one or the other. So that's the top that the contract could be. So let's say he reaches that top. He gets 80% of the snaps. Number one, it's a great thing because obviously he's playing and we needed him. But number two, we'll still only have paid about $300,000 for Morgan Moses. $300,000. So I think it's really cool. But here's something. He only signed a 1-year contract. And guys like myself, I was thinking, okay, this goes right along in line with what Joe Douglas has been doing. He did sign some guys, Carl Lawson, Corey Davis, and some others for a little bit longer contracts. But generally speaking, Joe Douglas likes this 1-year contract thing. Look at that guy. He likes the one-year contract for two reasons, I think. One is it gives him flexibility should the guy not be able to show up. If he's no good, he can get rid of the guy. If he doesn't mesh well with the team, he can get rid of him. No harm, no foul. It's a wash. Number two, it helps him to fill in a position while some of the younger guys that he has are getting up to snuff, are developing. So we have a guy who's played in the NFL who can fill that spot while another guy who plays the same position is still working on becoming an NFL player. And here's a third little bonus. If the guy balls out, he's on a prove-it deal. Why not? If he just shows up and kicks the hell out of everybody, then guess what? You got the easy, fast track to signing him long-term. So I think the way that Joe Douglas has been handling this is something that I approve of. So the Morgan Moses contract really looks like it fit into that. The other piece is this, is that Joe Douglas actually tried to get him for a 2-year contract. He tried to get him for a 2-year contract. But Morgan Moses wanted to go for the 1-year deal. He opted for the 1-year deal because he wants to try to play better this year and then be able to get a larger contract in next year's free agency, which I think is fantastic. Number one, you got to commend the guy for, letting the guaranteed money walk so he could bet on himself. I always commend guys who do that. I don't always agree with it. I think it's kind of silly sometimes. You see guys do that. Like Dak Prescott made me real nervous last year, man, when he turned down their offer and then his ankle. Oh my God, it ended up working out for him. But when it first happened, geesh, was I concerned for that guy. So it doesn't always work out. But when you see a guy like Morgan Moses doing that, I applaud it. I think it's really cool. I think it's a fantastic thing to do. But the other side is this for us. Guess what he's going to do this year? He's going to ball out for us. So when you look at the specific competition that Morgan Moses is going to bring to the team, I think it bodes well for us that he has his contract on the line. It's essentially immediately a contract year, which is going to be good. Because what we're looking at here is, on the surface, it looks like Morgan Moses and George Fant are going to be going head-to-head. And here's the thing. A lot of people really thought Morgan Moses was being brought in specifically to start. And I would think that too. I would tend to lean that way. But with the contract numbers, I got to say, I don't feel so positive about that anymore. I think that there's some potential that there's going to be an in-camp battle. Now, let's say hypothetically George Fant wins that battle. He beats Morgan Moses out. The contract is going to stay at 3.6 for Morgan Moses, so that's fine. Because you're not overpaying a guy who's not contributing. But the other side is, what are we going to do with Morgan Moses? If Morgan Moses loses out to Fant, specifically because Fant just stomps through the NFL in the preseason and wins the job, that's a great thing. But so what happens if Morgan Moses does not beat him out? What are we going to do with him? Does he just slide back into swing tackle? He doesn't have that same ability to play tight end that George Fant does. So he would be relegated specifically to swing tackle, where George Fant could play swing tackle and fill in as the big tight end a little bit more appropriately than, say, Morgan Moses. But there is the potential, guys. There is the potential that either he or Fant are going to slide inside to guard. Now, the versatility of our offensive line right now is really impressive. It's like something that we haven't had here in a very, very long time. And it's nice to see. You have tackles that can play both sides. You have centers that can play guards that can play centers. You even have guards that can play tackle. So wouldn't it make sense if one of these tackles could actually slide into guard? I think that there's going to be at least some consideration to such a thing, but it's going to be interesting to see because George Fant makes just about twice as much on the top end of Morgan Moses this year. And unless they're going to be asking Fant to take some sort of pay cut like they've done with Crowder and Alex Lewis, I just don't know how this is going to go. It is interesting, but I thought it was important to let you know that, number one, the contracts don't support such a thing, but number two, he opted for the 1-year deal himself. Either way, I think it's a really good signing. And now here's a little nugget that I got from a very loyal viewer of mine, somebody I like a great deal, named John Holton. Mr. Holton wrote me on Instagram just before I started filming this, and he said something pretty interesting, which was, hey, I think I found another positive for signing Morgan Moses from the team's perspective. And what he said was that Morgan Moses can be brought in here as insurance for the Mekhi Becton potential injury scandal that's going out there, right? Me personally, I'm not so concerned about Mekhi Becton's injury, how, his injury or him being more injured than they're letting us know or anything like that. But it still does beg some attention to the issue. We heard Saleh talk about it. We obviously have that whole brand new medical department and all that. So on the surface level, Morgan Moses can be brought in as insurance in the event that Mekhi Becton goes down, right? I'm going to put my sunglasses on. I just went blind. Sun came back out. But here's the other wrinkle that John Holton told me. Morgan Moses is known as a workout warrior. He's known to have impeccable workout routines and all that stuff. So they're thinking, John Holton was thinking that maybe they brought him in to be that example too. Like, we already know the attention that this particular regime is placing on character, right? So we already know that. Even our head coach is known to be a workout guy. So we've really stepped that up with guys who have great work ethic, great character, all those types of things. So bringing Morgan Moses in for the reasons that we already said would be enough. But do you think that the coaching staff might have even considered the fact that Morgan Moses might just be a very positive influence for one Mekhi Becton as they try to get his weight down and make sure that he starts implementing some practices that ensure a long career for this mammoth man who, hey man, if he doesn't take care of himself, we know that type of a body is not gonna last too long. So we're all hoping the same thing, of course, but I think that's an extra little bonus wrinkle that Holton brought to me, and I appreciate it. And I think, hey man, I wouldn't be surprised to find out later that was part of their consideration, because again, we already see this staff, both the administrative staff and the coaching staff, placing a high premium on character and work ethic. Now let's talk about quickly the backup quarterback. This is a big topic for Jets fans these days. Everybody's freaking out about this backup quarterback thing. Now, there were a couple names that we were talking about for a while. One, the most recently, some guys were really hoping we would bring Nick Mullins in. And it's not because Nick Mullins is such a great quarterback or anything, but he does come from the system, and that could be, that could really be a positive for when he comes into the locker room, being able to help install the offense and help, just help the players kind of work through it and acclimate themselves with the system. So that would be a benefit. But he got signed, so he's gone. On our roster, we have no one who's thrown an NFL pass. No one. There's nobody on our roster that's thrown it. Well, Jamison Crowder, but nobody that wears the title of quarterback. So nobody's done that. So we have obviously Zach Wilson. We have James Morgan, and with them we have White. What the hell's his first name? I want to say Devin White. Is that right? I don't know. Mark White, Bill White. So we have Devin White, James Morgan, and Zach Wilson. So we have those guys. Not one of them has thrown an NFL pass, so obviously there's some concern. But now that Nick Mullins is gone, and we know that Boyer is up in New England, so there's really not a lot of guys left on the market. There's still a few guys out there. Brett Hundley, I believe, is still out there. So there are some guys that we could bring in. But Saleh had such a great sound clip. If you listen to what he said this week about the backup quarterback, it's not really as cut and dry as you like to think that it is. He said he understands why people want to bring in a vet quarterback because they have experience playing in the NFL. But if you bring in a guy who's never played in the system, he's going to be occupied learning all the new stuff too. So he's not going to actually be able to mentor him to any real capacity. So he said it's not as beneficial as a lot of people like to make it seem. Obviously, you have that peace of mind. If the starting quarterback goes down, you have a guy running on the field who at least has played in an NFL game, and that's fine. But it might not be as beneficial as everybody makes it out to be. And Saleh also went on to say that he thinks getting to see what the guys we have in camp actually have is just as beneficial as bringing in a vet quarterback right now. So here are my thoughts on that. Number one, I just so much appreciate such a cut and dry way to say that, cutting through all the baloney, kind of getting past all the coach speak and everything, and just leveled with us. When's the last time that we were able to see that? We just don't see this around here. Somebody leveling with you, but not in a condescending, blustery way. Like he just said, look, guys, this is the way we see it. And I thought that was so cool to see. So that's the first thing. I really do appreciate Saleh for what he's bringing to the table for us so far as fans. Number two, I think that we probably will end up bringing in a vet quarterback. I do think that might happen. I think there's a good chance that it will happen. But I really do like the idea of our coaches being the coaches. Like, we actually have a quarterback coach for the first time since 2017. I know that sounds crazy, but we have not had a quarterback coach on the New York Jets since 2017. That's how long it's been since we've even paid attention to the damn quarterback position. So we have a quarterback coach. Now, he's young. He's Rob Calabrese. He's a young quarterback coach, and in truth, he's never really coached. He's never had the position of quarterback coach before. He's been quality control up to this point in his career. But guess what else we have? We also have a guy named Greg Knapp, who's been around for about 26 years, has done amazing things in this league, is very, very successful, and is an incredibly respected man for this position. He's our passing game coordinator. When asked what his job really entails, he said, I work with the quarterbacks. So not only is he bringing up the quarterbacks with Rob Calabrese, but he's also supporting, bringing up, and developing Rob Calabrese. So guys, we have coaches in the house, guys that have been there and done it. Been there and done it. That's not even to get into John Benton as our running game coordinator and offensive line coach. We have the horses in our staff. So if we decide that looking at Brett Hundley and bringing him in, or even RG3, or trading for Foles, if we think that the benefit there is minimal, and we just want to go into this season, this is an evaluation year. Now, look, we're going to try to win. I know we are. And in truth, I think we're going to win a lot more games than people think. But, guys, this isn't our Super Bowl year, most likely. Most likely. So I think it would be more beneficial to our long-term goal to actually see what guys like Morgan and White have behind in a reserve capacity than having them sit and be the third guy behind an RG3 or something along those lines. So I think that I think that we're going to go into training camp, and my opinion, and that's all it is that we'll probably take a week or two of training camp and see what our quarterbacks do. Let them run a full training camp with the 2s and 3s and see how that goes. If they look like they might be behind a little bit, maybe not progressing the way they'd like, they'll probably go ahead and bring in a vet. I think that it's possible that we'll trade for Nick Foles. I wouldn't want to see anything higher than a 6th, in my opinion. I think we should try to get throw him a 7th for him, or maybe even a player. Let's throw Chris Herndon at him for something like that. Maybe not Herndon, but maybe something like that. Flip-flop players and get Nick Foles. If they think that bringing that guy in is going to be more beneficial, then that's fine. If they think not, bringing him in and letting the young guys go so we can actually see him, I think that I'd be totally comfortable with that. We actually have coaches, and we're actually going to see some real development on our team, which is the first time in forever, man. I can't even tell you the last guy we actually developed. Maybe Robbie Anderson, you could say that for him. Who's the last guy, really? I have no idea other than Robbie Anderson. I'm trying to think here. Who do we develop? Nobody. So with that all being said, I think that that's what's going to happen. But I really do like the approach that they're taking, and I think that it's going to be more beneficial for what we're seeing from our staff, which is the long game. For once, we're playing the long game. So that's my thoughts on that. Now let me bring up one final subject for today. We're going to make this one a little bit shorter this week, but I wanted to talk about something that we did touch on Thursday, thick of it on my live stream, but this is pretty good news from the way that I stand here. I think that this is going to be fun, and I can't wait to see what we do with it. We have the chance to be, to ruin this and be a little bit of a bummer here, and I'll tell you why. But the good news that I'm talking about is the NFL has relinquished the one helmet rule for teams. I think this is fantastic. So they're allowing teams to have a second helmet. What do you guys think of that? They have a second helmet rule coming, so now teams can play with 2 helmets. So there are some options for us. There's going to be different options, and the conversation has already begun. Now, there's a few options that I'm going to bring up to you. I'll show you here today. I'll show you right here, and then we'll take a look at it. So obviously we have our current helmet, and I think that they're going to keep that, right? They didn't put all the millions of dollars into changing it, the market, the market research, all that stuff, all the ads, changing the buildings, and all that kind of stuff. They're going to definitely keep the helmet that we have now and the logo, at least as one. So that takes 50% of our opportunity to have some fun away. Option number 2 is we're going to say white helmet with the green oval, football with the NY and the Jets in there. What do you guys think of that? Now, I'll show you right here. We'll take a look at that for our remembrance sake. So think about this. 1 week we have our green helmet with the, with our current logo on it, and then the next week we come out with our all whites with the white helmet that we used to have. Come on. What do you guys think of that? It's in there for me, man. I'll tell you, I liked our previous uniforms. I thought they were classic, classy. They weren't as dated as a lot of people like to think they are. I liked them. So then we have our 1980s and 1990s logo. What do you think of that? There's a nice little outcry for this one. So, the logo, it says Jets with the, the J going into the jet, going across the top of the word mark there. I think that's a good one. All green helmets. Maybe we keep the same color green that we have now. So we still use Gotham green with spotlight white. It's all the same color scheme, but we just have the different logo. What do you guys think of that one? Now, if this was what they chose, I'd be absolutely happy with this. I'd be psyched. I'd think look, that logo didn't bring us too much happiness. All right, let's be real here. We had a couple years in there, but overall, that was a big old flop of a logo for us. But I think if they brought that back, maybe 3, 4, 5, 8 games a year, I think that would be super fun, and I would love to see it. So then we have the one that I think would be a big old bummer. I really do. I'd be very unhappy if they went to do this. I'm just about done with this one because it doesn't make sense to me, is the old Titans uniform. I don't like that that's the only thing that we do when we go throwback. We go to a blue and yellow. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to me. For me, I am all green. That's it. The Jets are green. That's how I look at it, and that's what I want to keep it. I don't like when they go to blue. I don't like it. And especially gold. Like, what is blue and gold? So I know a lot of people like it, and that's fine. In my opinion, I think that they're definitely weighing that option out. I don't like that they're doing it, but I know they are. But I think this is a great opportunity not to do that. How do you feel if they decided to wear the Titans uniform 4 or 5 games a year? How would you feel about that? Would that make you happy? Or what if they even just changed and wore the helmet with the the all black and a blue helmet? That'd be that. You know what? That wouldn't be terrible. All black uni with the blue helmet. Nah. I don't know. I don't like it. I don't love it, man. So what do you guys think of the Titans uniform? You think that's one that you would sign up for? If you had to vote, would that be the one that you voted for? Not me. There it is. What do you think of this? This one might be my favorite. So it goes back to the white helmet and it goes back to the old logo, but it's still fresh and new and something that we've never seen. Huh? Yeah? What do you think of that? So this one, if I had to vote, I think this one is number 1 for me. I think this is the one I would vote for. But let's throw one more at you. And we looked at this one on Thursday night's live stream as well. This one has the New York City Skyline on the bottom. What do you think of that? A lot of people like this one, and I got to admit, I like it too. I think this is pretty cool. And it goes way outside the box from what we're used to seeing as Jets fans. So I think this could be an interesting one as well. What do you think? It's very, very different. In truth, I think I'm going to be happy with anything that they decide to do that's not the Titans helmet. I would be disappointed, man. I would. We've been there, done it. We did it for 20 years, whatever it is, since we started doing the throwback uniforms. Oh, and I would not want to see our, what do you call that? What did they call that? The spotlight. What did they call that? The color rush. Yeah, I don't like that either. I didn't like that. I didn't like those helmets. I didn't like the color rush. I'd be disappointed with that too. So what do you guys think? Which one would you vote for? Let me know in the comments. I think this is interesting because it's real. That's the cool thing about it. It's actually real, guys. This is happening. Now, we don't know what the Jets are going to do. It might not be real for us. They might say we're not doing it. Who knows? The NFL said we can do it, not that we're going to do it. So we don't know. But I think it does raise a lot of potential to change things up and have some fun while still remaining, loyal to the logo and stuff that we have now. So I think it'd be a good time to take this opportunity and have some fun with it. And I hope that the Jets do. I think they will, because let me tell you the truth. This is a marketing campaign dream for them to be able to sell a different uniform to the same fans and double their income, so to speak. And a lot of guys, look, ask yourself, are you that guy? If you already have a Zach Wilson jersey or a whatever jersey, a Nick Mangold or something, would you not buy this one too? Doesn't, right? You do it. I know guys who have white, black, green, all that stuff, same player. So I get it. That's not me, but I know a lot of people that are like that. So it does bring up a lot of potential for increased income. So like I said, I'm going to make this one a little bit shorter. I got people all around me. I'm not sure if you could pick it up. There's a whole bunch of... I came down here, I was alone. I waited till the end of the day. I waited. I watched this beach all day. My camper is right there. I can see the lake. It's beautiful, man. I eyeballed this. Like I said, I'm going to wait till everybody goes home for dinner and all that kind of stuff. And I'm going to go down there and real quick capture my moment. I was down here 10 minutes and I could see them all walking down. So I got a bunch of parents over here, a bunch of kids with their parents over here. I had a couple people walking around, all that stuff. And now I got a family come down here to ride jet skis. So they're here too. You could probably hear them in the background. But anyway, I'm going to make it a little bit shorter, but I want to say this to you. I so appreciate your support, guys. I think this is going to be a great season. We did a little season prediction on the live stream the other night. And let me tell you, man, I didn't think it was way off to say that we realistically could win 12 games this year. I'm not kidding. If a few things that we put together actually work out, I think we have some potential to really surprise people. And I think that's going to be really interesting to see if we are just coming out of the gate in the Salah era as a 10 to 12 win team. Wouldn't that be great? Yeah, I would love it. So anyway, it's going to be a good season. Again, I can't tell you how much I enjoy having this connection with you guys. Even the haters, I love you too. I know there's something going on with you. You're all unhappy and stuff. I don't know what it is. Just know I'm a nice guy. If you want to talk about anything, I was a therapist for many years. I can help you with that. I'm sure we can find the source. I know it's not me. I didn't do anything to you. If you just don't like me, that's fine. But anyway, thanks again. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget to pop over to Full-Time Coaster Tour. I just put up my Knoebels review from Knoebels Theme Park in Pennsylvania. Just put that up. I'm working on another one tonight. And you can find all that stuff at Full-Time Coaster Tour on YouTube or go to fulltimecoastertour.com. And you also need to get over to Jetnation.com where the Jets fans live. That's where they live, man. Jetnation.com. Again, thank you so much for watching. And as always, go Jets.